Once Upon a Time, along with Lost, Supernatural, and maybe The 100, is my favorite TV show right now, or at least it was until it was cancelled in 2018. But having one of the most confusing backstories on television ever, it left volumes of unanswered questions, and by the end of season 7, the writers kind of retconned and broke down episode to episode before basically merging all worlds, all timelines, and all multiples of people into one big, rather neat concept that tied a bow on the mess. Season 7 was quite weird. It started out feeling strange and questionable, and midway it felt like Once Upon a Time again. Then after the mid-season, it got weird and poor, only a couple episodes in, before slowly climaxing to a wonderful finale, which was then finally capped off with a 2-episode series finale. The show contained so much lore. A huge chunk of the fan base loved it for the romance and emotional characters, but an equally huge, less vocal portion of the fan base followed it for the brilliantly interwoven sci-fi fantasy and mystery drama aspect it had to offer. I am one of those people. I love shows like that, and the other shows I just mentioned also mix these aspects together perfectly. So I have many theories on the lore, many answers to bizarre questions that I've thought of over the years, many ways to organize the messy timeline ending that finally confused even me, and in this little video, we'll finally be figuring out the answer that is probably the most key of all. Who ended up being the oldest character on the show, and how does this have ramifications for magic itself? Stay tuned, we're getting all Greek mythos up in here. Spoilers beware. Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and in Season 1, I'm pretty sure everyone thought Rumple was the oldest. He ended up being only about 200 to 300 years old when the show officially ended. Then we met Peter Pan, who was about 30 years plus Rumple. Then we met the apprentice, who ended up being roughly 500 years old, along with the first Dark One, Nimue. This was right before we met Merlin, who the show stated was just over 1,000. But then, lo and behold, we right after met Hades, Zeus, and the Greek mythologies. Easily these win out, having likely granted Merlin his powers through the Grail, and having been around during the formation of, let's be real here, Heaven, Purgatory, and Hell, despite the show calling them Olympus, the underworld, and, I suppose, the worst place is sort of a flaming hole in the ground, though it often is implied that the River of Souls has connections to it. Anyways, nobody could possibly top them, right? Wrong. Meet Fiona. Well, technically she was born when Pan was, but her banishment to the Dark Realm could mean a few things. Either she paused time for herself with the realm's chaotic properties, making it seem like very few years, or if she truly was there for those 200 years, like the Blue Fairy probably wanted, and the time dilation on Gideon, 28 years equates to just under a day, then that logic, multiply, carry the 1, brackets first, exponent second, Cabbage Patch Kids scare the ever-loving shit out of me. Holy God! Holy damn, Fiona, you black fairy f***. You've resided in the Dark Realm for 2,044,000 years? Time vortex? This amps her creep factor up by 1 trillion. She's like one of those ancient-looking, creepy, all-knowing, Beldam from Coraline-looking sprites. Gosh, but this doesn't count, because the Dark Realm isn't in real time, unlike the Land Without Magic and Fairy Tale Land. Even places like, as they call it, the New Enchanted Forest from Season 7, has this sort of warped time that aged Henry several years, while Regina aged like 1 back in Storybrooke. Speaking of Season 7, though, Gothel. Oh, Gothel, 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 what have you done? The big twist, which, by the way, I absolutely positively loved, was that Gothel was from the Land Without Magic. She destroyed humanity, and then claims that she'll be back to snuff it permanently after the next gray fish flops ashore and evolves into humanity once again. I shit you not. What this means is that Gothel killed humanity and took the last of magic with her before the world was reborn into nature, and the very first evolutionary underwater link was all that remained. Assuming she kept the gray fish alive, and the humanity we currently know in Once Upon a Time is the result of that second evolution, then Gothel is, at absolute bare minimum, old as hell. It says thousands of years later in the show. No. According to the current model of human evolution, this would make her, remember, at bare minimum, far over 365 million years old. And this isn't like Mrs. 2 Million Fiona over there, who was only born about 230 years ago. This Gothel woman lived in our world for over 365 million years. What the f***? I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, the new Enchanted Forest has wonky time, but that doesn't take away from the fact that our world still took that long, meaning she's been alive even far longer. Anywhere under 1 billion years old, I'd say. And I mean, I was going to say here that we still don't know how old the Blue Fairy is, but it doesn't matter. Gothel definitively trumps her, but the Greek gods still beat out Gothel for being, well, Greek gods. They've existed before all of it, so does anybody beat them? Well, let's pull out a Greek mythology family tree. We know Kronos exists in the Once Upon a Time universe because Hades and Zeus imply it to a degree. I also think Poseidon exists as their third brother. I ended up linking him on the family tree for being Ursula's father. The Greek goddess Ursula, though, not the season 4 witch, was the first taste Once Upon a Time had of gods after Regina impersonated her in season 3, much to the disdain of the goddess. Remember that? Yeah, that's Ursula, the Greek goddess, not the witch from season 4. There's a bit of a difference. Ariel's father might also be, in this world, some kind of demigod, him being the sibling to Ursula in true Greek mythology. But is there anyone else on this huge family tree, other than the inevitable beginning of the universe, that would apply to any Once Upon a Time character? Yes, and it comes from the spin-off Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Nyx, the personification of night. Nyx is the daughter of Chaos, and Chaos is the being who created everything. And since Once Upon a Time rolled with the completeness of Greek mythology, instead of just resting with Disney's Hercules, we know this all ties in directly. Nyx is the oldest character we ever meet, alongside the mere possibility that Nyx's brother, Tartarus, embodies the fiery pit of hell and takes the mantle of Lucifer in Once Upon a Time. I don't know, we're never made aware of his existence. Hades just says that there is a devil, but he himself is not it. But Nyx takes the cake, being infinitely old. She is older than all gods, all titans, and is only beneath the universe itself. She is the primordial deity that governs night mainly, and is one of the oldest things ever. Apparently, her well in Once Upon a Time has waters that flow beneath all of the realms that can and do exist, much alike the underworld's rivers. You know, how Korra took the memories of young Zelena and Regina in the far past? She said a spring of the Memory River, the yellow one, flowed nearby their home. Nyx is also said to live in the depths of the Tartarus pit, also known as Hell, or, yes, the Acheron, River of Lost Souls. I don't know if I'm pronouncing all these things correctly. I think I am. So my theory on Nyx is just simply this. Nyx's waters, the most powerful magic in Once Upon a Time, is what powers all of the realms. Nyx's powers are directly tied to the water, and Nyx is the strongest character on the show. She created genies and had the power to stop Jafar, a man who literally broke the laws of magic like Fiona would have if she'd won the final battle. My theory is that magic, the realms, all of it, is powered by this core, this flow of water, Nyx. And to steal from her is to steal from magic as a whole. Again, Nyx is said to live in the depths of Tartarus, the fiery pit, the Acheron River, Hell. So is her water tied to the other underworld rivers too? Most likely. And I can even tie it all in another way. Given the chaotic nature of the Dark Realm, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Nyx's home. It would make sense. The emptiness of where the Black Fairy resided, the time dilation, the darkness of the well, the depth of the magic, the Greek roots, everything would come full circle. But nothing can be confirmed now. The show has ended. But wouldn't that be cool? The Dark Realm is at the bottom of the fiery pit. Ooh, evil. These videos probably won't get many views, but I love Once Upon a Time, and a good chunk of my fans here on YouTube love it too, as long as they get the notifications for this video. In the future, I'll be making a big timeline, but before that, because the timeline's, it's gonna take a long time, and there's already timelines on the internet for it. But before the timeline, I'll be creating more lore analyses. I have so many theories, lots on magic, Gothel, and lots on the more mysterious realms. All can and will be explained, so click the subscribe button and the bell if you love Once Upon a Time. You'll be notified of when I return to this. So until then, I'm the Theorizer.